Welcome back to This Podcast Takes Tokens. This summer, we are holding our annual summer series, and this summer's theme is a Best Buds Summer. So we will be covering 10 of our favorite movies about Best Buds, starting today. But before that, we need to address our retro ramble that we left you off with last week. Ryan, do you remember I asked you last week what was something you still have from your childhood and is on display in your home somewhere, or maybe just the oldest thing you still have?
Yeah, I remember.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, since I brought this up, I'll go first.
Okay.
I have several artifacts from our childhood, but not many of them are, out on display, like comic books or gaming collection. Like that's here, kind of, but not really. I wouldn't count those. That's not what I'm asking about. It's a little too obvious. But there was a period of time, probably about 5 years in my early teens, where I enjoyed putting together model cars. And I had a couple of them left over, like whenever my son was born. I still had a couple of them. And so we put them up in his room as kind of a decoration when he was first born. And, sadly, only one of them survives to this day. You know how that goes. And it's now here in my office on a shelf, and it is my 1995 die-cast metal red Ram truck. Ever since they released this Gen 2 Ram in 1994, it has been my favorite car. Just a Ram truck, a new one. And what I drive to this day. So, I've had this thing for a while, and I just kind of epitomizes like something I always wanted as a kid, and ended up getting, and just one of them things. But
okay.
How about you?
Yeah, I like it. I always wanted it. I remember you doing models, like putting models together.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to get into that, but I never had the patience for it. I never I would do the snap type ones.
Yeah.
But when it came to gluing and the painting, I just didn't have the patience for it. Now, modeling is something I would love to get into.
Oh,
Not fashion modeling, but but yeah, I'd love to get into making models. I watch people do it on YouTube all the time and things like that, and it's fun to watch. And I used to paint my miniatures for board games and stuff like that. I had a lot of fun with it.
Oh, yeah.
But I just don't have any place to put anything now. So I'm just like, well, because I've seen some where people are like they did there was some Star Wars ones that I watched, and they had made Luke like stabbing through like an AT-AT, and and then they've like put lighting in there, so like where the saber marks are for him like stabbing through it, it's glowing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, gosh, that'd be so much fun to do stuff like that, but I have no place to put it. So, but yeah, I always envied you when you would do that. I wanted to be able to do that, but I just never could get into it. For me, gosh, I forgot the caveat of actually having it on display somewhere. So what I had come up with that I had thought of was things that I still have. And to be fair, I really don't have a whole lot of stuff from when I was a kid.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't really I thought about it for a while this week. I hard, and I'm like, gosh, I don't really have a lot around anymore, which is sad. But the three things that I did keep, and I guess you could sort of say it's on display because they're still in my daughter's room. In her stuffed animal collection, she's got like one of those baskets that hangs, in the corner, and you keep stuffed animals in. So, three things that I've kept since I was a kid. My three stuffed animals. One was Kermit the Frog, Gizmo, and I've got a KC Wolf that Mom and Dad got me one time when they went to a Chiefs game. So those are mine. Mainly the one I think about a lot is a Gizmo, because that's her favorite, and it's right up front there. So
yeah. And they just recently re-released that Gizmo too.
They did. So we got her the re-release of that, and it's bigger and it's got a lot more detail to it. The one that I had from probably 84 or something like that, doesn't have a lot of detail to it. And he's pretty faded because I slept with him a lot. But yeah, he's still on display, I guess. He's sitting up there with with her other stuffed animals. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I like that like, things like that, gets passed down and all that. That's pretty cool. This reminds me of like Toy Story with like the Woody character. He's been passed down a few times.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Well, what do you say we get into the episode?
Let's do it.
All right. Your local video store card.
A comic book in your back pocket.
Games with no tutorials.
Music you had to discover.
And drinking water straight from the hose.
These are the things us millennials remember fondly. We are the Jennings brothers.
Join us after the streetlights come on
as we race our bikes from the top of the hill
right down memory lane.
Exchange those quarters because this podcast takes tokens.
All right. These are simple rules. No swearing on mic. No politics. You will not wait your turn to be spoken to speak. This podcast takes tokens. No new movies. No modern games. You will listen to classic music only. This podcast takes tokens. No begging for more mask content. No Casablanca. And you will not drink from my toilet. This podcast takes tokens. That's right. Today we are talking about the 1989 classic Turner and Hooch.
I was fine until you started talking about the mask. If you're new with us, it's kind of a running joke. We did the mask. We watched the mask, rewatched it, last year, I think.
Yeah.
And it did not turn out the way that we remembered. So
no, go back and listen to it. Check it out.
You should.
See what you think. Maybe you have a different opinion. Leave us a comment, but definitely check it out. It was a lot of fun. All right, so let's run the numbers. Released July 28th, 1989. Box office standard runtime of 97 minutes. A budget of $13 million. It's time for everybody's favorite game. You want to guess the opening weekend?
Budget of $13 million. Opening weekend, $7 million.
12.2 million.
Ah, man. Wow.
Almost made the budget back on the opening weekend. All right, worldwide gross. What you guess?
45 million.
71 million.
You're kidding me.
Wrong
You are
again.
absolutely kidding me.
This was a hit. This was a big hit.
Okay.
Which we'll get into in a little bit, but this was a big hit.
Wow.
Rotten Tomatoes score of 50% on the old tomato meter, which is the reviews. I believe those are reviews that movie reviewers, rather not just general Joe Schmo public, have made online.
Critic reviews.
Critic reviews, thank you, yes.
Yeah,
giving it 50% there. 51% on the popcorn meter, which is all the ratings. I'm assuming that's anybody that goes on to Rotten Tomatoes and leaves a review, what they left and thought about it. I need to get a little more familiar with Rotten Tomatoes, but I think we're going to start introducing that as well as our numbers. I think it's a good, it could be a good metric. But 50% of the people liked it, 50% didn't. I mean, that's a little lower than I expected. I kind of thought this was a beloved classic, but apparently there's some folks out there that don't like this one.
So
but it's all right.
If we're going to follow suit, one of us is going to like it, one of us is going to hate it here.
Maybe. We'll
not.
see. Starring Tom Hanks as Detective Scott Turner. This was released just after he got done with Big in 1988. The Burbs in 1989. It was in theaters while they were filming this, in fact. And but before Joe versus the Volcano and the epic Tom Hanks 90 years run that kicked off after Joe versus the Volcano. We're talking A League of Their Own, Sleepless in Seattle, Philadelphia, Forrest Gump, Apollo 13, Toy Story, That Thing You Do, Saving Private Ryan, You Got Mail, Toy Story 2, and The Green Mile, all in 1990. 90s.
90s.
Wow.
There's no way he released all those in 1990.
No,
Yeah, in the 90s.
That's a run. That's a run.
Yeah. Did you throw Philadelphia in there? He was in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelphia. Yep,
that
was
okay. I missed
1993.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. 93. Yep.
Man.
Tom Hanks, man.
Yeah.
Even before the I guess that'd be the golden age of Tom Hanks. He was still on it in the 80s.
Oh yeah, in the 80s.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Absolutely. But what'd you think rewatching this movie? I personally enjoyed it. I loved it. Had a great time. I've always enjoyed it. But I'd like to hear your opinions.
It had been quite a while since I'd seen this movie, as is the case with a lot of this stuff. This movie is a very hard PG, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I mean, I'm watching it, and like after like him and the veterinarian, like they do their thing, and then like they're making dinner, and there's some touching going on, and there's some situational hinting at things. There's a dude, it's off camera, but he gets his throat cut.
Oh yeah.
Killed.
Lots of murder for a PG.
I'm watching this and I'm like,
grisly murders
not
too.
PG. This can't be. Like, I'm like, well, this was the PG-13 rating was out at this point. Like, how did this not get a PG-13 rating? But
I don't think they had it dialed in yet.
No, I don't think so. But man,
they were focused on like nudity with the PG-13, I think.
Yes.
And
I
since
think
it didn't have that and didn't really have a lot of language, I feel like it slipped under.
Yeah, there wasn't very much language in it, so that was good. I mean, for the PG rating, I guess. I don't know. But, anyway, I liked it. I really liked it. It's it was fun to go back to. There's some tears we can get into at the end. But I love the way they introduce Scott. He's flossing, and he uses a new piece of floss for every crevice in between his teeth, and he's peeling off that little bit of the check that didn't come off when he's pulling the check, and it's good. You get it down that he's a neat freak.
Yep.
And I love it. And then we see Reginald Bell Johnson and
David Sutton. Yeah.
Great cast in this movie.
Yeah, they were good. Like they played off each other really well too.
Yes,
I felt like there was a good partnership there.
Yes, it was. So this movie's great. What do you think about it on the rewatch?
I enjoyed it. I've watched it. I watched it recently, probably I don't know, a couple years ago. Whenever Disney Plus did the series reboot with Josh Peck, we watched it right before then with the kids. I enjoyed it. Kids kind of thought it was slow, but they always say that about 80s movies, so I don't know.
They kind of are.
Like, it's not just like changing scenes every 3 seconds. They just can't lock in for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. You were talking about him being a neat freak. Originally, he was written to be a bit of a slob.
Really?
Which I found interesting. Like, I don't know like how that would have worked.
Right?
You wouldn't have the same dynamic, exactly. But I enjoyed it. I always enjoyed this movie. I can't remember the first time I saw this movie. It's been around so much. Like it's always on. Like it was one of those movies that was always on like TBS or something. I remember my grandparents having it on VHS and we watch it there. It's just like I've seen it so many times over the years. I can't remember the first time I saw it, but I always enjoyed it. And I'm not really a dog person, but I still enjoyed it, and I still enjoy Hooch, and like he seems like a lot of fun. A little wet, if you will, but seems like it might be a lot of fun.
They portray, I think, in these movies, every dog is just like slobber city, right? Like you look at this, like. I don't know.
He starts flinging it around all over the room. It's landing on everything. Yeah.
Beethoven. They did the same thing in Beethoven. That came out, I guess, maybe a couple years after this. But it seems like every dog movie. Sandlot. Hercules.
Big drooling monster.
Drooling. So Speaking of the Sandlot, I did have a question for you.
Sure.
Who do you think's tougher, Hercules or Hooch?
Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know, because
It's a tough
Hercules
question.
is like Hercules is being portrayed through the memories of these children. So we're not like with Hooch, we're seeing Hooch as Hooch. Like that's like face value. But Hercules, he was built up. Like there were certain scenes where he was standing easily like 2 times taller than another scene.
Yep.
So he's been built up. He could have been like a little chihuahua for all we know. Like we don't know what kind of dog he was originally,
Yeah.
but these kids have built it up so high. So I don't know. Like if you're talking about the memory of Hercules, yeah, I think Hercules wins. But are we talking about the actual dog, Hercules? Like, I don't know. Maybe. I think it's a pretty even battle.
Yeah. It'd be fun to watch that, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to see it.
We're
I'm
not
not
endorsing dog
condoning
fighting
dog
here.
fights. Just to make that very clear. But this is a fictional.
We're talking a chess battle.
A fictional chess battle. They're gonna get done. They're gonna get done with their battle. They're gonna have a bone. They're gonna, they're both fine.
Well
I
taken
just
care
want
of.
to see who's tougher.
Just put them in endurance trials. They
There we
don't
go.
have to face off at each other. They can just face off alongside each other.
Let them chase criminals. Who
There
can
we go.
catch them the quickest?
There you go.
Yeah,
I like
there
that.
we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything more, I don't know the word for this, but Hooch running in slow motion when we first meet him and his jowls are just flying up and down. Is there anything more just like menacing and funny at the same time?
It's great. It's great.
It's so crazy. Hooch is crazy.
Hooch is just a great character in and of himself. Like, he doesn't have any lines, but
And he's so
you
expressive.
You get him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's just, like you said, he's a good character. He's very expressive, like in the way he looks at Scott and like, kind of emotes different things.
Yeah.
Very expressive character for sure. Like they did a really good job bringing that out. Like I was reading about the character of Hooch, like the dogs that portrayed him. There was one main dog that portrayed Hooch. I have his name somewhere in my notes. Beasley.
Yeah, it was in the Beasley. That's it.
Yes. Yeah. And there were a couple other backup dogs and a stunt dog as well.
Stunt dog.
They had to have, the one where he goes through the glass. So you gotta have the stunt dog for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that dog did a really good job.
Oh yeah.
Expressing himself and everything. And I think the little dog at the end is Beasley as a pup. They filmed that early on, and then later, use that same dog throughout the filming of the movie.
Okay,
like as they
makes
trained it and
sense.
everything.
Because he looks like
I think
very, very similar. Which I know he's supposed to. He's supposed to be,
his son.
son.
Which, how does that work? You got what was that? A Lassie dog? Was that I forget what kind of dog that is.
It's not a border. Is it a border collie?
Border collie. Yeah, border collie. Yeah. So you got a border collie.
Down the street.
And you got whatever, like this French, whatever mastiff thing that Hooch is.
Bulldog. Yeah.
They get together and they have babies, and all of them look like the border collie, except for the one who look and is a spitting image of. How does that work? Like, aren't they kind of like? Shouldn't they come out as kind of like that's how we get like like labradoodles and all these weird like half breed puggles and different things like that. So shouldn't we have ended up with like a French border mastiff whatever instead of like
I would
two
think
distinct dogs?
I would think because mine is a cockapoo, so he's a cross between a poodle and a cocker spaniel.
See,
and he doesn't look like either one.
Yeah.
It's just this weird combination. He's not full on, one or the other. So yeah, I agree with you. You on that. And the other question I had about that is so I know the gestation period on a dog is a lot smaller than it is with a human. Like, but by the time we see this at the end, Scott comes home and I can't remember what his wife's name is. I'm just going to call her the vet. I can't remember.
Emily Carson.
Emily Carson. Okay. Was that the character's name?
That's the character's name. Yes.
Okay, so Emily.
Played by Mare Winningham.
Yes. He comes home and Emily's pregnant. You can see.
Yeah.
And they've got these pups.
So they don't address.
They don't address it. They've got these pups, and which I guess now that I'm thinking about it, the pups are a little bit bigger.
Yeah, they're pretty big pups.
They must have gotten like married like super quick after the end of this, or after the events with Hooch and everything.
That's true. Know from the kitchen scene, they have no problems.
That's true. But I do think that they say that, well, hell, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe this happened before maybe that's when everything happened. But they do say, your wife's on the phone or whatever. So,
that's true.
But, I mean, very well, maybe they got pregnant there earlier in the movie. So I guess there is that. So take anything I was just thinking out of the equation because I was going to be like, well, the timelines don't match up, but maybe they do. Maybe they do.
Good. Yeah, because the gestation period on a dog is only a few months. Yeah. Those dogs looked like they were easily 6 months old. Like they were older. They weren't full grown, but they weren't like puppies either.
Yeah, sure.
So I think this is probably about a year removed from the end of the movie, would be my guess. And because he's now chief of police or something like that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he becomes chief of police. Yeah. And Reginald Vell Johnson's the new investigator catching bike thieves.
Yeah, that's right.
That's just great.
Yes.
He plays
with his instincts.
We discussed this in the Die Hard episode that we did. I don't think Reginald Vell Johnson is cast as anything other than a police officer in anything he's ever done.
He almost didn't take this because he didn't want to play another cop.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he almost started because he had just started doing Family Matters. He just got cast in that, and they were shooting that. And he said, "Well, I don't want to play. And I'm already playing a cop on this show, and I've played a cop in Die Hard 1 and 2, and all this other stuff. I don't want to get typecast as a cop." But I guess he met with Tom Hanks or read the script or something, and just was like, "All right, this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Let me go ahead. I'll go ahead and do this one." And talked himself into it for whatever reason, and was very happy with that. Which, it's a great decision. Good chemistry.
He's my police officer, right? When I think about a police officer, like he's like I'd want him as my police officer.
Yeah,
Reginald Vell Johnson. Yeah,
absolutely. So, did you ever watch the Disney Plus series they did on this, the Turner Hooch one they did?
I saw that, and I'm like,
you can't watch it now. It's been removed.
I don't really want to. It's been removed?
It has been removed.
You're kidding me.
No, they removed it in 2023.
Why?
They say to save on storage space, which I'm like, it's digital files. Like, there's not a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are running a multi-million-dollar media empire, and you're telling me that the thing that's holding you up is these like 8 episodes of this TV show y'all shot? No, I don't believe it. They removed a bunch of stuff off Disney Plus back then, and it was a big deal. But anyway, apparently it's them like covering things up, like hiding all like the bad stuff. But I'm like, you got to give it room to breathe. Like sometimes some shows need a couple years to find an audience. Like, but anyways, that's more content. Anyways,
yeah, I don't know. I didn't. When I heard that they were coming out with that, I was like, I don't need that. Like, I've seen Turner and Hooch. I don't need a series. Like, but that's just me. That's just me. Yeah. You watched it, I'm assuming.
I watched it. It was fun. It was like a family show about like, it was his son, Scott's son, who's named Scott as well, who is a U.S. Marshal, and he gets partnered with a dog, and he has all this history with Hooch or whatever. Which was like, premise was like, like the setup on it was a little clunky. It was like they really should have just like rebooted it, like just started it over again.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Instead of like trying to like tie it into the original one, which I think is where they kind of like, because it felt too shoehorned, like it just felt too forced. But it was okay. But it was one of those shows where it's like I feel like this was like the issue with Disney Plus early on. Is they were making all these series that were like, that would have been on like the Disney Channel.
Yeah. But
they're trying to make them they're trying to meet somewhere between Disney Channel and like primetime TV. So the two audiences don't merge because you got Disney Channel with like the kids and you got primetime TV with the adults, and you're trying to do kind of like almost like what was it, the TGIF that they had back in like the early 90s, you know, like Family Matters and all that was on step by step, like all that. It was, it would kind of felt like it would have fit in with that, which doesn't really work today. I don't feel like, like it works for us, for nostalgic folks. But it just doesn't work today. So I'll leave it there. It was okay. It was fine. It was, I enjoyed it enough to watch it all, but like it could have been better. Did you know that there was a TV pilot for this done in 1990 as well? Like directly after the movie. It was to pick up directly after the movie.
I did not know
starring Tom Wilson, Biff from Back to the Future in the Scott Turner role. Yes. Man. You can watch this pilot episode on YouTube, and I encourage you to watch it because it's that much fun. It's campy. It's, but watching Tom Wilson in this part is just so much fun. And they actually brought back the dog Beasley to play the part of Hooch. Well, like the second Hooch, I suppose. But this can be found on YouTube. Just search up Turner and Hooch 1990 TV show, and there it is. That's my gift to you this week, folks. It was a lot of fun. I watched it.
Tom Wilson is he's somebody that just doesn't get enough love. I saw him. My wife she's been watching through House, the medical drama. And there's an episode that he's on there, and I'm like, that's Tom Wilson, and he does fantastic. But he just didn't get a lot of roles, unfortunately.
I think he just played that Biff part way too well.
He did. He really did.
Yep. Did you know that originally, but whenever they were setting up this 1990s TV show, you didn't know this because you didn't even know it existed.
I had no idea.
But before they cast Tom Wilson, they were going to cast Tim Allen in the role of Scott. But he turned it down because his home improvement show entered into development and he wanted to pursue that. But it would have been really funny if Tom Hanks and Tim Allen played the same character and then went on to co-star in Toy Story together.
Yeah, it would have been great.
I just thought that would have been a nice little,
I
don't know, button on that or whatever.
Yeah.
That was an interesting little fact, I thought. But they did a pilot back in the 90s. It was interesting.
Like this movie, as much as I enjoyed it on the rewatch and as fun as I had with it growing up, I don't see a series out of this. Like I don't fathom how like some producer or some company somewhere is like, gosh, this, we could make a series out of this. Like I just don't see it.
I just don't see it.
Do you really?
I can see it. Yeah.
I just don't.
Like they have one. I've never watched it, but I heard that there's one in Canada called like Rex and something. And it's basically this as a TV show in Canada. Like a police detective has a canine partner, and they go around solving crimes. It's on its like fourth season now. It's pretty popular up there. No,
wow.
I might go check it out. But I can't remember the name of it. Rex something.
That's why I'm not in show business, I guess. But I don't know.
I think it's one of those things that like it either works. And then you end up with like a show like they have in Canada, or it doesn't work and you have two failed TV pilots coming out of Disney.
Well, and I think the thing is like if they're going to do this, like, okay, I can get what you're saying, the Canadian show, right?
Yeah.
But if you're going to continue on with the story that's been established, Scott's living in this small town. They've had one murder in this whole town's history. What are they going to be solving? Like more bike thefts? You know?
See, I feel like that's where the Disney Plus one actually had a point because they made him a U.S. Marshal so he could travel and do, there's a lot more to explore there. Yeah. Then, like if they lock him down in a small town, then, you're not going to be investigating murders every week. So, I feel like it would be focused more on, you would have to focus more on character development, on the interactions with the town folks and stuff like that. It had to be like a slice of life type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't, you couldn't revolve it around like crime. It couldn't be a crime show every week. It had to be more of like a, I don't know, a sitcom or something like that where he just happens to be a police officer.
Yes. And I think if they were to throw a crime in there, it would have to be like an overarching crime through the whole season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like one
like
crime.
Little ones every episode and then
Yeah.
like one big one across the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I could see that. Yeah. But I don't think we're going to get another one anytime soon. So
I don't
Probably
think
not
so.
gonna
I
happen.
don't think. I seem to like. So at the end, when you see Little Hooch,
yeah.
it just it created a false memory in my mind of a Turner and Hooch 2.
Oh, really?
Because like for some reason I started seeing this picture of a VHS box that had Tom Hanks with the pup on it and not the adult Hooch. And so I started looking it up. I'm like, I like went back to the search bar in Disney Plus and I was like Turner and Hooch 2 and there was nothing. And I looked it up. I'm like, there's gotta be a Turner and Hooch 2 and there's not. So I don't know. I see like when we used to hang out at Video Castle, I just have this image in my head now of seeing a Turner and Hooch 2 box, but it's
maybe
like
it was like
Mandela
a different
effect.
movie, or like maybe it was that canine one with Belushi and the
Jim
dog.
Belushi.
Yeah.
Or just I can't remember. Jim was the
Jim. I think which came out like a year or two before this, even.
Yeah,
or,
I think you're right.
I think they beat this to market. But yeah, maybe it's like something like that where you saw that, but then thought Turner and Hooch 2. You know, our young minds tend to like mangle things together like that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be my guess. Or maybe somebody like in a search, they were like, whenever Colin Hanks was getting really popular and everybody was talking about how much he looked like his dad, maybe somebody threw together like a fan casting of him in Turner and Hooch 2 or something like that, and that was floating around the internet. Perhaps. I could see that floating around the internet 100%. Sure. I know that's out there. I haven't even seen it. I guarantee it's out there.
Yeah.
Oh, anyways. So interestingly enough, another little fun fact for you, because I got a bunch of those.
Yeah, throw them out there.
They used Tom Hanks's audio where he's telling the dog, don't eat the car. Why are you eating the car? Don't eat the car. That like little 30-second bit there was used to give voice to the first test footage of Woody for the Toy Story movie.
Oh, really?
And Tom Hanks saw that and was convinced that this movie was going to be a success, Toy Story, and signed on immediately to do the Toy Story movies, that's pretty cool. I like that. I want to see, I wanted to go back and look it up. I wonder if that footage is somewhere on YouTube. I just want to see Woody yelling at the dog about eating the car. I think that'd be a lot of fun for sure.
It'd have to be like a grayscale model, I would think.
Yeah, or like sketchy, just like hand-drawn animation.
Yeah.
Maybe, or something like. Well, no, because they said they used it for the test animation footage. So yeah, it would have to be. It's 3D modeled.
Yeah.
Be rough though, I imagine.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, because like when they do those 3D models, like typically with those, like the bits before that, they have the color put into them or whatever. It's just kind of grayscaled up. But regardless, that's a cool fact. That's a cool fact. I like that. Yeah,
fun little tidbit there, I thought. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, did you watch this with any of the family or anything this time?
No. Nobody ever wants to watch anything with me.
No, they don't. I know.
Okay, that's fun. It's like, I've seen it before. The kids are like, that doesn't sound good. I'm like, it has a dog that loves to drink beer.
Right.
Like,
how 80s is that?
I love it. Like, he just gives him a beer and he cracks it open.
Yep.
Starts drinking it. Yes.
I asked my wife. I told my wife. I said, I'm going to be watching this movie this week. If you want to join me, And she's like, yeah, I can fall asleep during that movie. I was like, all right, that works. So I put it on, and sure enough, she fell asleep about halfway through it. Yeah. But I take no offense, because that's typically how that goes with whatever we're watching.
So something that bugged me about this is Scott leaves. He goes to the store to get, dog food and all this stuff. And his buddy at the grocery store really loads him up. I don't know if he's really a true friend or not, if he loads him up with all that stuff. But anyway.
That's a big bag of dog food.
Oh, man. Huge. Gives him all these toys, everything. Stuff he doesn't need. Hooch Terror just destroys the house.
Oh, my God, yes.
But isn't Scott, like, getting ready to take a job in the city? He's not packed anything. Like, he's supposed to be leaving. He's supposed to be starting the new job the next week. Because this murder comes up earlier in the movie, and the chief is like, "We got it. We'll hand it over to the sheriff's department or whatever." You're like, "You're getting ready to go start your job next week," and he's like, "You know what? I was going to take a week's vacation anyway between jobs.
That's it.
I'll just go ahead and
I think that week's vacation is what he was going to do all the
packing and everything. Yeah. Okay,
that's my guess. Because like you look around the house, like there were boxes packed up. But it wasn't like everything wasn't packed away for sure. But there were boxes of stuff packed away. But yeah, like his kitchen was still like he had a fully stocked fridge.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
He had so many dry. I'm watching this dog tear up this kitchen, and I'm thinking this is not a bachelor. There's a lot of like food in this house for just one guy.
Sure.
Like the loaves of bread, all the pasta, all that dried, like the flour and all that stuff that gets pulled out from underneath the cupboards, and like the refrigerator is just packed full of different foods and stuff like that. Yeah, this is not. He's got a lot of food for a guy that A is a bachelor and is B about to move. Like, you got to be working through that stuff. You're not taking it with you. How far away was it? Where were they? They were in
California, but I think he was going to. It wasn't San Francisco. It was San Diego. I think San Diego he was going to. Yeah.
They looked like they were on the beach. They were on the bay somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. I don't know how far. I mean, it never really says, I guess, how far away.
No,
they
that's
are
true.
From the city, but
yeah, it could have been like a 2-hour drive for all we know.
Yeah. It's a quaint little town, though. I like those little towns in movies. Always like them. Yeah.
Which, I mean, I don't know how little that town was. Like they had like a pier with like like it had a whole industrialized section, and they've got like the whole downtown area. That was a pretty good sized town.
But the
vet, not having a lot of murders.
The vet is for not having a lot of murders. The vet is like, she's operating out of her house. So like, to me, that's like,
yeah, that's a
small town,
Well, I don't know. Like where I'm at, you go downtown and we've got a bunch of these like, historic buildings. They're like homes like that, like old Victorians and stuff like that. They're all converted to businesses, and some of them are like, it's a business / residence. So like the people live in them, like on the top floor, and then like the bottom floor is where they'll do like, pet grooming or, chiropractors or insurance agents, psychologists, CPAs, stuff like that. And then the top is like they can live out of them, or they'll have like a back, like it's like there's the Victorian home and then a detached garage with like an apartment above it type of situation. And usually they'll live out of that apartment and they'll work out of the home, which is, I guess.
I stand corrected. I don't know. Yeah. I just the town, to me, the town seemed a little bit smaller. Like a couple thousand people. I don't know.
I would be willing to bet tens of thousands, not 100,000, probably like 50,000 or so would be my guess.
No way. If they have only had one murder with a town of 50,000, there's no way.
I don't know. No. It's got to be a suburb of San Diego would be my guess then. Because, I don't know, they got like the whole like port. There's a lot of industry down there. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think it's a little bigger. I don't think it's like a quaint small town. But I mean, like when we did Arachnophobia, like that was a small town, but really like it didn't look that small. Like it didn't, I don't know. But 90 small towns are different than they are now too. I don't know. We had this whole discussion before. You were talking about the ending, being, it's sad. Poor Hooch. We lose Hooch. Spoiler alert to anybody who has not seen this movie yet.
Yeah.
We lose Hooch. Sorry.
I forgot about that. Like, I forgot that Hooch dies, because the whole time
goes
I'm
down
thinking,
a hero.
Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Saves the day.
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah. But can't save Hooch. He was on that top rafter, just like creeping around. You see him stop because he realizes somebody hears him.
Yeah.
Then he starts moving again.
Yeah.
I loved it. He was so smart. It's a good boy.
I did not expect him to die, because I thought, okay, they're going to get him back to the vet, and he's going to like pass out, like he's going to be like, oh no, we're going to get you home. We're going to get you home. You're going to get you some rest. He's going to pass out. It's going to fade to black. You'll hear, oh, crying. And then they come back. And honestly, what I full on expected was he's Scott's chief of police. You see that whole thing after Hooch dies, fades to black. You see that whole thing. I expected him to go home, and he's having to deal with Hooch again. That's what I expected. I expected him to
kind of
be alive. So I'm surprised. It's a little sad. It's like, you can't kill off Hooch. Like,
they did shoot an alternate ending where Hooch lives.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is that.
We didn't get it.
They tested it with audiences, and they just liked the audiences, the emotions that it invoked where Hooch passed away, where Hooch dies, were better. Like, it just made the film better to the audiences, apparently. And like, because whenever Hooch lived, the audiences came out of it and they were like, oh, yeah, it's a good movie. But whenever Hooch died, the audiences came out of it and they were like, oh man, yeah, that was a good movie.
That's really pulls on the heartstrings.
Yeah.
You
just get that emotional ride with it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I guess sometimes you got to make that sacrifice.
How is Scott explaining all this to the authorities afterwards? Because there's not really anybody else. Well, I mean, yes, sure, he's the authorities. But how is he, like, the chief of police? No one suspected this guy to be in on this. He killed a man.
He was running it.
He was running the whole thing. Yeah. How? I want to see how Scott is explaining two dead men, and one of them's the chief of police, and he's the only one that survives.
Yeah, and nobody's like, this looks a little suspicious.
Yeah.
I imagine, well, there was some other evidence that he was kind of gathering along the way.
I mean, I know he found like the money in the ice, like there was that, and I just think it took a little bit of explaining. Like,
I bet there was like a Craig T. Nelson, Chief Howard. I bet had a big old boat somewhere, or like a classic muscle car, like a fleet of cars, a big home. Something that can't be explained by like a $50,000 police chief salary.
His safe. He had the audacity to put all the information in a manila envelope in his safe in his office at the police station. That's what happened.
Combination 000.
Yep. He's got it written down on his Rolodex, hidden in there.
On the bottom of it. Yeah. No, yeah. I bet there was more. There had to have been more evidence. But this is one of those things where it's just like they're like, we're going to move on. Yeah. No need to explain anything.
Well, in rewatching this again, like it'd been so long, it was basically a fresh watch for me. As soon as Craig T. Wilson
Craig T. Nelson?
Nelson, that's it. As soon as he shows up at the docks towards the end of the movie, I'm like, oh, he's in on it. Like, why else is he here? Like, and he's like, oh, I got backup. I'm like, no, you ain't fooling anybody. You may be fooling Scott. You're not fooling
Even
me.
Scott was like, hang on a second. You got here too quick. Yeah. Did you warn him? Yeah. Scott was on to him. For sure. I think there was something there. I'm sure there was something there. Like once you know where the river's flowing from or which direction the river's coming from, it's easy to track it back. I feel like, to paint a bit of a muddled metaphor there, but
sure.
I feel like once they knew that it was him, it was pretty easy to like connect a bunch of dots. Like I'm sure that the revelation to a police detective that he was the head of it, it was like, oh, light bulb moment. Like all these things started like making connections,
falling into place. Yeah.
That'd be my guess. But I didn't give that much thought though. I just kind of was like, they
just went with it. It's an 80s
bow on it. Yeah,
it's an 80s comedy action movie.
Right. If I was made to think about it, they would have told me to think about it.
That's true. We'd be watching Amadeus or something right now. If that's what we wanted.
So the original director for this was Henry Winkler, and he came on.
Yeah.
Was fired after just 13 days of shooting.
You're kidding me. No, Henry.
They fired him because he didn't get along with Tom Hanks. Can you imagine Henry Winkler and Tom Hanks not getting along? Two of the most likable guys not getting along. I just can't imagine.
I can't imagine Henry Winkler not getting along with anybody.
I know. I can't imagine either one of them not getting along with anybody. Apparently, they patched things up like pretty quick after. Like it wasn't a big thing. But yeah, like the rumor was that the Disney executive at the time, Jeffrey Katzenberg, was dissatisfied with Henry Winkler's performance in the first couple weeks and replaced him. The other rumor was that Henry Winkler and Tom Hanks didn't get along. But I don't know. I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Yeah.
Because the other thing I read was that Tom Hanks and Henry Winkler patched things up pretty quick after and have been friends since. Which, again, I can't see the two of these holding a grudge against anybody or getting into it. I mean, these are two of the sweetest guys in Hollywood. I just can't imagine. That bummed me out to hear that. I can't imagine. But then again, like, I don't know. I'm sure there's some people that like Tom Hanks is like, I don't like that guy. There's got to be somebody. There's always somebody.
You are going. I've told this to just people in my life. There's always going to be somebody in your life that you don't like.
Yeah.
So inevitably you are that person to somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's just inevitable. I mean, I'm sure
can either be a driving force in your life and let it define you, or you can just let it go and avoid that person and move on with your life.
And you may never know who doesn't like you.
That's true. Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's lots of people out there that don't like us.
We've seen them in the comments, so I'm sure.
I haven't seen anybody in the comments. I don't know. I don't want to bring on bad juju. Man.
No. We're okay. We're okay. So they had to. They did it. They did it. They put a fart joke in this movie when they're in the office and Hooch is.
Oh yeah. But that was that was a good one. I mean, it was a good one.
It wasn't like, come on.
They didn't like, there wasn't like a big sound effect to it or anything like that. It was just that was dog. Like, I mean, you've had dogs. Like, how often have you been sitting there and you look and you're like, what is that? What is that? And you look over and your dog's just got the happiest look on his face. Like, oh, you little turd. Oh my word. I got to get out of this room. Something died in that dog and is trying to escape. I've been there. I've had friends with dogs, and that has happened 100%. And they are quiet about it. Like, they are completely unfazed by it. And suddenly something has died in that room. And that scene felt very real to me.
I agree with you that it felt real, but I'm like, was it necessary? Like, we've discussed this. Like, I didn't feel like this one hit home with me. Like, it's got to be very specific. And
I feel like, as far
as I can't think of anything I cannot think of a fart joke in a movie that I've watched and be like, that's funny.
That's a good one. Yeah. As far as fart jokes go, I felt like this one worked, and I was okay with it, and it didn't bug me. But like, I agree. Like, oftentimes it's used as like low hanging fruit comedy.
Oh yeah.
And it just like, it doesn't play as well. I mean, for some people it works. They'll watch it 100 times and laugh their asses off at it, and that's fine.
Yeah.
If you enjoy that thing, great, go for it. Yeah, me, like, maybe the first time you might get a chuckle out of me, but after a while, it wears thin really quick on me for sure. But this one, like, yeah, it didn't. I don't know. I wasn't laughing at it really this time, but like, it was definitely like, oh yeah, that I remember them doing that. That was funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. Yeah. Fart jokes. They're a little. We can, as far as they go, I feel like this one was decently done.
Fair enough. 50% of the audience loved it. 50% of the audience.
That's right. Maybe this is the divider. Like, this is what it did right here. This is what swung the tomato meter for folks.
See it, and that's it. Yeah.
So during the filming of this, we discussed The Burbs was in theaters. Tom Hanks.
We did a Burbs episode, by the way. If you like The Burbs, go back and check that one out.
That was like our 3rd or 4th episode. That was early on.
I think so.
Tom Hanks had high expectations for The Burbs. He was he really liked that movie. He enjoyed making it, and he was expecting it to do really well. So, but he wasn't quite sure about Turner and Hooch. Kind of didn't think it was going to work as a movie. And so whenever the Burbs opened up during the filming of Turner and Hooch and the ticket sales started to decline, Hanks grew a little bit disappointed while filming this movie. And then suddenly this movie came out and was way more successful than the Burbs. And he kind of like took a moment and was like, okay, so I can't predict it all, but hey, it works. So just like
this is
thing there.
This is really, honestly, like, as much as I love the Burbs, one of I love it so much. This really hits a broader audience than the Burbs does. I mean, it's a dog movie. It's a police movie with a dog.
Yeah.
Like,
it's kind of hard to like. It's hard to be.
It's a movie for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Burbs wasn't, and that's okay. So,
as we've learned.
50%.
50%. Tomato
right.
meter.
Well, I'd be curious to go back and see what.
We'll check out the tomato meter after we're done.
Yeah.
So I got one more for you. Fun little like alternate casting. So
sure.
There's like a lot of people that were up for this originally.
For Scott, the role of Scott.
For the role of Scott, yeah, the role of Scott. That's all I'm going to focus on. I think Meg Ryan and Carrie Fisher were considered for the role of the veterinarian there.
Oh, I would love to see Carrie in that. That would be great.
Yeah. She was busy with something else. I can't remember what. And Meg Ryan, they didn't like for the part, but the casting director kept her in mind, and then they used her later on in Sleepless in Seattle. So, because they liked their chemistry together, but they just didn't like her for the part of the vet for whatever reason. So, I don't know. But, so Richard Gere was actually the backup or alternate for Tom Hanks if he decided not to go through with the movie, which I can't see that.
Don't see it at
all. But they first approached Steve Guttenberg for the movie, which at the time, think about where he's at. But he had just finished up Cocoon: The Return, a sequel to a wildly popular film he'd done, and was getting ready to make Three Men and a Little Lady, another sequel to a wildly popular film he'd done. So he just passed on this because he was between projects at the time. I could have seen him in this role. I don't think it would have been as good though. I don't think it would have been as good.
No, I agree with you. I mean, yeah, I could see it, but Tom Hanks brings something to the table. That
absolutely.
I think Steve Guttenberg's good. He's a fine actor. I like the stuff he's been in. But I mean,
he's a good comedian.
Tom Hanks is like a generational actor.
Yeah.
And this is
this is a defining role for like early in his career for sure.
Yeah. I mean, because he did. I mean, he started out as a comedic actor. Most of his roles were comedies,
buddies, all that. Yeah.
Yep. As he started getting into the 90s, he started taking more dramatic roles and
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Forrest
Gump.
Gump.
That's really what did it. Yeah. Philadelphia and Forrest Gump back to back, and then it's like, man, he can do anything now.
Yeah.
I will watch if it's got Tom Hanks in the marquee. I'll watch it.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
you got me for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. Dudley Moore was approached for this. He turned it down. Just decided he just turned it down. There was no reason for it. He was actually hadn't done anything for like a year before this and a year after this. So I don't know what he was doing at the time, but he turned it down. Which I'm like, okay, I can't think of a movie where I'm like, oh yeah, Dudley Moore. That was like, I mean, I know he did Arthur, and that was like a really funny one. Apparently, I've never seen it. I never really got into Dudley Moore. Yeah. So, I'm not
who I think would be good in this role.
All right,
Daniel Stern, I think would be good in this role.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Yeah. He might have been. Well, I guess. Yeah, he would have been about the right age.
Yeah.
So after that, they had John Larroquette. Larroquette. I can't pronounce the word. John Larroquette. See, now I'm trying too hard. You know what I'm trying to say?
I don't know what you're trying to say. What's he been in?
Night Court.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
What word am I trying to say? John Larroquette?
I have no idea. I know I can see the face. The name is
I can't pronounce the last name. What is wrong with me? That guy. Anyways, he was busy with Night Court, so he passed.
Yeah.
And he was working on Second Sight, so he already had a movie going. But yeah, that one, Johnny Boy. John.
Yeah.
Bill Murray was approached for this role, which could have been interesting.
Bill in it.
I don't know. That could have been interesting.
Yes, I will agree with you. It'd been interesting. I just don't see. I could see Bill doing the Reginald Bill Johnson role.
No, yeah, I don't know.
No,
I don't know. Reginald Bill Johnson, RVJ. Come on, I think this is his role.
It is. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying if I had to place, you're forcing me to place Bill Murray in this movie somewhere. Yeah. There. Oh, action.
What about the chief?
Hooch's owner. Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
He could have done that. Yeah. Could have done like a little like Caddyshack to it.
Yep.
Yeah. But he was busy with Ghostbusters 2 and Scrooge, so he passed as well. Yep. Which, I think it would have been okay, but yeah, I don't think, again, not as good a fit as Tom Hanks, I feel like, in this role.
Yeah.
Interesting one here. Jack Nicholson.
No.
He was busy with Batman at the time.
Too serious. That would have been like way too serious, I think.
I think he's done some comedy.
He has, but I don't think his comedy chops, in my opinion, are not as good as
now. Put him in a police chief role. I feel like that could have worked. That could have worked.
He's got that jerk attitude to him.
Yeah.
That could, perfect police chief. Yep.
And I feel like the second one could have worked with either role, the Scott role or the police chief role. He was busy with Christmas Vacation and Fletch Lives, Chevy Chase.
Oh, yeah. I could see Chevy Chase in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I could see him doing it. But yeah, he was busy with 2 other movies. Fletch, it's got to be on our list. One of my all-time favorite movies. Yes. So
that's crazy. They went through that many people before they got to Hanks.
They got to Tom Hanks. Well, I mean, you think about where Tom Hanks was at the time. He wasn't. Yeah. He really didn't have much. Like Joe versus Volcano, I think, had just come out.
Big came out before this, I think.
Yeah, Big was out before this. Sorry, Joe came out after this. But yeah, so
he'd been doing like TV. He was in Family Ties, a couple of episodes of that, I think, and I don't know.
I don't think he'd established himself as
movie
leading. Like, keep in mind at this time, people on TV and people in movies were 2 separate universes.
Oh, sure,
very rarely did they cross.
Yeah.
So he still hadn't established himself as a leading man. I feel like around this year,
Money Pit. Yes.
Boom. Yeah, Money Pit. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Matt. One of our listeners, Matt, threw out the Money Pit there. So.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, Money Pit. Yeah, I think that was around this time too. That was before this, I think, as well. Yeah, because this was like what Money Pit. Yeah, that was all about like 80s yuppieism. So it was like, I think it was like 87 or 88. They did Money Pit in. I don't want to take a minute.
I thought that was where they bought a couple bought a house.
Yeah,
and then
they were like yuppies.
Oh yeah, okay. 86. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, so that was a couple years before this. Yeah, I don't know how well Money Pit did. I can't remember, but we got to put that on the list. That was a good one too.
Yeah.
Got to go down. I got to go down Tom Hanks's IMDb.
We'll just do the summer of Hanks. Yeah. And then the next one,
next summer, we could do all Hanks if we wanted to. There's enough left over.
Oh yeah. Then we do the summer of Busey.
I think you just do a Busey Hanks summer and just alternate, go back and forth.
What do you think, man?
All right. Well, you got anything else on Turner Hooch?
Yeah, I do. When Scott and Emily had their night together, they are making an omelet for the 2 of them.
Yeah.
With 3 eggs.
Sure. How many eggs do you have in an omelet?
Oh my gosh, 5 or 6.
Oh my Lord.
Oh, you just throw them in there, right?
No, I guess so. I guess yeah, if you're going full, I'm like 3
now,
or 4 for
if
one.
it's my duck eggs,
okay, so
I'm going to use
1.5 eggs.
Yes, but 3 eggs. I thought there's no way. But it's the 80s. People didn't eat as much in the 80s, right?
That's true. When I make my breakfast and I make eggs, I use 2 scrambled eggs. So I could see
Do you?
Like, and my wife, she'll have one. So three between the two of us typically for breakfast.
Yeah.
Some bacon, but if you're throwing a bunch of other stuff in there too,
Yeah.
I think 3 might be enough. They're not looking to get full. They're just looking for a little post-coital snack, if you will.
Sure. Yeah. I guess so. Yeah.
That had to be big. Nothing heavy. You don't want anything heavy after that anyways.
No, I guess it's a family show. What are we doing here?
All right. Well, if you're done with Tom and Hanks, Turner and Hooch.
Tom and Hanks, yeah.
Tom
Turner
and Hanks.
Hooch. Yeah.
What do you say we move on to some stale popcorn?
Yeah. So, that's what we're going to be calling our comments section now. We didn't really have a name for it, but we are going to be doing. No?
That's the gum under the seat. We got.
Oh my gosh! See, I'm ruining everything.
Stale popcorn.
We got these new things now that we're trying to try to coin
segments.
Yeah. There we go. Anyway,
so stale popcorn is something that you wanted to bring up or correct from a previous episode or week.
That's it. Yep.
Do you have any stale popcorn for us?
I have no stale popcorn.
No stale popcorn.
Except for I need to correct what I just said.
All right. Well, we'll say that for next week.
Next
week's stale popcorn will be how you got stale popcorn and you got the gum and the stale popcorn.
Yes. There we go. You have any stale popcorn?
I had a little stale popcorn.
Okay.
So I was just thinking, back whenever we did the Star Wars episode recently, it was pretty recent. I wanted to bring up, what do you think is a more popular language, Klingon or Wookiee?
Oh, Klingon.
Klingon, you think so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. You think there's any other made-up languages that are more popular than that?
Dothraki, maybe now.
Dothraki was at the Game of Thrones
Game
one?
of Thrones, yeah.
Yeah, okay. But is that just because of you think in 10 years it'll still be that case?
Oh, no. It's Klingon is always going to be. I think Klingon's going to.
It's going to it's like Jedi is a religion. It's going to spawn its own thing.
That is so nuts. That's a thing. That's a thing.
A legitimate religion now.
It's a legitimate thing. Yeah.
So that's crazy, right?
Anyway.
I mean, hey, if the guy that wrote sci-fi can create his own and call it Scientology, why not?
That's right.
Well, that's all the stale popcorn I had.
Did you? Oh, I thought maybe you were going to tell me that,
Oh, I didn't look it up. It was just a thought. It was just a thought I had during the episode, and I meant to bring it up, and I forgot. And
fair enough.
I want to come back around to it. Klingon or Wookiee? I just thought it was interesting. Yes, Star Trek versus Star Wars. You got that whole thing. But all right, now to what you were thinking we were talking about.
Yeah. Anyway. So gum under the seat.
Gum under the seat.
So that's going to be our comments section. Things,
something listeners leave behind for us.
Yeah. So the first one that we've got today is from our Goonies episode, Spaghetti Western on, love that name, on YouTube. He commented, I watched Hook and the Goonies so many times as a kid, I could recite every line entirely without the movie playing. That's impressive.
Yeah, there were a couple like that for us, for sure.
Yeah.
I think maybe Ninja Turtles was one of them. Mm-hmm. Ace Ventura, perhaps, was maybe another one of them. Or
The Mask.
The Mask, maybe. Probably The Mask.
Probably The Mask. I mean, seriously.
That got watched a lot.
Smoking.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I can't really. Yeah, I'm racking. I'll say that'll be a stale popcorn because I can't on the spot. I can't think of one, but I know there were a couple of them like that for sure. Like Hook, I remember watching that one a few times. I enjoyed Hook. I like that one a lot. Growing up, I like that one now still.
Yeah, Hook's great. Hook's great.
It's a fun one for sure. Absolutely.
Next one we had Fozzie Guy. I think he's on.
Guy.
It was on our 90s Music Was the Bomb. We had a whole lot of fun with this, and we had top fives of our 90s music songs. He gave us his list.
All right.
Starting in order, Jesus Freak by DC Talk. Very good song. I remember that from growing up. Flood by Jars of Clay. Iris by Goo Goo Dolls, which I'm going to throw this out there real quick. No, I'll get through your list and I'll throw this out here. My Name is by Eminem. Then My Hero by Foo Fighters.
It's an excellent song for sure.
Yes.
Jesus Freak, DC Talk. I forgot about that one entirely. Flood by Jars of Clay. That was a big one. I remember that one. That was I like that one a lot. I had that album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That still comes on every once in a while. Like I hear it every once in a while.
Do you
like,
really?
Oh yeah. And it takes me back to the moment. I'm like, as much as I like the song and I enjoy it, it's got like and maybe it's just me, but it's got a very youth group vibe to it.
Yeah,
it feels
yeah.
Maybe it's just because like we sung it a lot in youth group, or it's just got like a youth group vibe to it. And I heard it like a couple weeks ago, and I thought that, and I was like, oh yeah, this is like steeped in like this feels like a youth group thing for sure.
Oh yeah, that was me with like Jesus Freak, because I remember like we would have foosball tables, and I remember like that song come on, and it was so heavy hitting, right?
Yeah.
And you'd be like playing foosball, and you'd start to spin. Oh yeah, freaking Jesus Freak, and you'd be spinning like it was awesome.
Yeah,
great list, Fozzie guy.
Yeah,
love him,
love it.
So I was going through that, and it reminded me.
Iris is your least favorite the Goo Goo Dolls song?
No, actually, I really like that song. But my stepson, we had a band concert for him. Just yesterday, and he's a senior this year, and they had kind of a thing for the seniors, and they had their pictures come up there, and they got to tell like some fun memories about band and like what their favorite song is, because it's music related. Iris by Goo Goo Dolls. I'm like, yes. I took him, my wife and I took him to a Goo Goo Dolls concert over the summer, so I think that's kind of how that fell in there. But I love that he put that on there. I felt like I'd accomplished something in my life.
He passed something on.
Yes.
Passing on knowledge. That's what it's about.
Yes. Last comment I had, again, was from Fozzie Guy. This was on our Ninja Turtles 2 episode.
Annual episode. Or anniversary episode.
It was our anniversary episode, because the very first episode we did was TMNT 1. We had discussed on there that we thought TMNT 2 was kind of toned down from the original. And he put on there, he said the second Turtles movie was toned down due to parents complaining about the amount of violence in the first movie, which is why you see the Turtles trying to grab anything that isn't a weapon to be used as a weapon. I had not noticed that. And
now I see it, though.
Yes, totally see it. In the German version, they even added cartoon sound effects.
Just crazy. I can't imagine. That would ruin it for me. If it didn't already ruin it for me.
Right. And then Judith Hoag, which played April O'Neil in the original one. I guess she was not called. He said she was not called in to reprise her role as April O'Neil after the director was unhappy when she derided. I think that's what he said. The way they mistreated the stunt doubles and their unfair schedules. Fozzie Guy, I think you may have had something else on there, but it like cut off.
Or something.
Well, it cut off. I think it like schedules. There was like the word change at the end, maybe, and then like I couldn't find the rest of the comment anywhere.
No, that's all there was.
Was it? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I had no idea about that. Which that makes sense, though. I guess like we were talking about with Henry Winkler and Tom Hanks. I guess if you don't get along with the director, you're
they just
or
the producer in this case.
Producer, but, yes, producer, yes, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like back then though there was a lot of this like you take your paycheck, you do your job, and you go home, and then if you see something and you want to say something, we're going to punish you for it. Like keep your mouth shut, do your job as an actor, and never mind how we treat other people. But that's early 90s and the 80s. Just kind of like Hollywood was ran sometimes by some unscrupulous folks. I feel like she may have just been a victim of that there, because she did go on to do other things, and she did been stuff and successful enough. But
she wasn't in TMNT 2.
No, not in TMNT 2.
And
may have been a benefit for her.
I mean, we discussed it. Like TMNT 1 is the first one is way better than the second one.
Which I felt like the violence was fairly toned down in TMNT 1 as well. I didn't feel like there was a whole lot of violence. There was violence, but the fighting I felt like wasn't like it could have been better. It felt like that was even toned down in the first one, really. But That's what it is, I guess. It was still a fun movie. Enjoyed it.
It was.
The first one, very much so. Second one, parts of it.
I didn't know this. Our loyal listener, Matt, he's on here on our comments now, actually. And he said, also, Corey Feldman didn't return for TMNT 2 because he had just had a drug charge before the movie started filming.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Speaking of Corey,
90s.
Before we finish out the Turner and Hooch, where would you plug in Corey Feldman and Turner and Hooch?
He was pretty young here.
Oh, he was but the Burbs age. So in the Burbs, he was,
he was like, what, 17 in the Burbs? Something like that.
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
He had to be a teenager. There wasn't any kids, not that I can think of, throughout this movie. Man, was there any kids in the movie?
I don't remember any kids.
I don't remember any kids either.
I think that they could have pinned him as the bike thief.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He just did a little cameo as the bike thief.
Yeah. I just saw some bikes, I was trying to score some bikes. It's okay. I called the pizza dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. My Corey Feldman impression's bad, but.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He had a rough go about it in the 90s. Yeah. Stardom just doesn't like some kid I don't know. Kid actors, I really feel for them. Like, that's a rough place. To be as a kid actor, for sure.
Not something I want to be involved in.
No, not at that age. That'd be rough for sure. It's hard. But, hopefully you make it through and you do all right. But, man, Turner and Hooch, I don't know where you put him. I think you're right. He'd have to be the bike thief. I can't
think of anything else.
No. There wasn't a whole lot of roles in the...
No, a pretty small cast, really.
You know what he could have been? He could have been they do the part younger. He could have been a stock boy at the pet supply store, helping Scott get all the pet food and everything. Yeah. That's where you put him.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Well, that's our gum under the seat section. If you want to have your comments on there, comment on the videos, comment on Spotify. Send us an email. This podcast takes tokens at gmail.com. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. I'm trying to think of anywhere else that has like a written review.
Yeah, you really can't leave reviews many other places.
Yeah. But anyway, we'd love to read your comments and all that on the air. We definitely will. And we'll throw them in our gum under the seat section. So
comment on this video. Comment on this. Yep. Anywhere, comments we'll read. 100% reviews. I'm not where to put those at. There's only
and if you listen to us while we're live, like our friend Matt here has been doing, we will read your comments live while we are
if they're appropriate.
So if they're appropriate, I mean, you keep them PG. So
and relevant.
Yes. Let me tell you guys what I did yesterday. Anyway, so our retro ramble question for you for next week. I was really having a tough time thinking of something, so I kind of left it a little bit generic, but I think we'll have fun with it anyway. So if you could go back in time and rewatch,
I'm on board.
Time travel question. Rewatch one movie for the very first time, what would it be?
Rollerball?
Okay, I'm out of here. That's it. If that's your answer, that's fine. No. It's a bad answer, but that's fine.
No, that's not my answer.
All right. Well, let us know what yours is, and we'll read them on the air next week. And till then, remember, sharing is caring. Again, leave us a review. We would appreciate it. They really help us. Give us a thumbs up, a like. Subscribe would be great. We would love to have more subscribers and love to keep the conversation going. So, till next week, be kind and rewind. We will see you then.
See you all around.
This podcast takes tokens is a Clay Street production.